that comes to us from Brandon. He's a member of the Summit Toastmasters Club in Brandon. The particular expertise that he has to apply to the topic that he's delivering tonight is that he was a consultant at Steve Jobs at Apple Computer, of all of the things that he's done. He was the co-founder of We Care Home Health Services. Him and his partner got the company to 64 franchises before George stepped down. He's a professor emeritus. Sounds like some kind of, no, it's not a disease. At Brandon University, he was the founder of the computer science department at the University of Brandon. Tonight, he's working on his Advanced Communicator Silver. The title of his talk is Affirmations for a Successful Entrepreneur. Please welcome Dr. George McMaster. Affirmations for a Successful Entrepreneur, George McMaster.
How's your time, George? How long do you
8 to 10.
8 to 10, thank you. So I'll give you 8, 9, 10. Please.
That's great. The bell. The secret to success is a secret to a lot of people. The secret to success is a secret to a lot of people. What I'd like to do is share with you tonight some of the things that help We Care Home Health Services become a Canada-wide company. We started in our basement in the recreation room. It was converted to an office. And by the time we finished, we were in every province in Canada, and we became the largest home health care company in Canada. And in fact, this province was tremendously gracious to accept the company. I don't know if you've heard of it in Vancouver and Victoria, and people became the name We Care, so it was really powerful. My friends Bill and Carol Stadney, very close friends who lived in Brandon, and their mother, Bill's mother, was visiting. Now she's a very striking lady. The first thing you notice about her is she's missing one leg. Now, while she was visiting Carol and Bill, the reason that she lost the first leg was diabetes. And I guess it struck again, and she had to have the second leg removed. Now, Carol and Bill are working full-time. They don't have a chance to really care for Bill's mom. And my partner and I believe in principle number 4 of the Napoleon Hill, Science of Success, and that is go the extra mile. We did everything for them. We tried to help this lady who was having her second leg amputated. Did absolutely everything we could. But at the end of it, we had the thought, like, behind every adversity is the seed of an equal or greater opportunity if you but look. And you might say, what opportunity is here in this adversity? Well, if Carol and Bill couldn't find care for his mom, that seemed like a great chance to create a company that could provide care to anyone. And so the idea of a home health care company was born. Now, pretty well everyone said, oh, the government does it all, why are you even bothering, and so on. So you really have to have the strength of your own conviction. Once we had made up our mind, I know I didn't feel all that confident, even though I'm a systems analyst. So I took a lot of an MBA. I sat in and took courses, and really what it did was give me the confidence. If I sat in a room with a lot of MBAs, etc., I pretty much knew their language. Now, Michael Gerber wrote probably one of the best books to help a business. It's called The E-Myth, or The Entrepreneurial Myth. And one of the lines in there says, the system is the solution. Gord Wicks knows it because he flies a plane. And I know when I step into a plane to fly it, I pick up a sheet and it tells me everything I need to know to check that plane to make sure it's going to be flyable. That's an example of a system. So we systematized absolutely everything about a company so that we could take a nurse and in a matter of a month we could have them running as a business person. And we were very successful at it. In a couple of years we had 22 franchises. And so we had a convention, and in fact it was in English Bay overlooking the park, Stanley Park. And I think it was something like, you know, the upper part of the building. And just like you're sitting around, I walked in. I mean, nurses are probably the nicest people in the world. But I looked around the room and it looked as if somebody had died. And what had happened is that these franchisees, we'd given them the three characteristics of a franchise. The name, We Care Home Health Services, the operating system, how do you conduct your business, ongoing support. In other words, keep you going, bring new things, help you stay competitive. But they were now teenagers. Does anyone here ever have a teenager? You know everything at the start, and after a while, you know nothing. They were at the stage, we knew nothing. And they wanted the franchise fee reduced. If they had done it, it would have killed the company. And I was really unprepared for it, but I simply stonewalled. But after the convention was over, I started thinking to myself, why did I ever start this company to have that kind of thing happen? I got over it pretty quickly, and I started looking around for a system. You've read Stephen Covey, Sharpen the Saw, when I heard him speak. And you use your intuition. It wasn't going to be enough to save the company. I read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And I started liking what was there. Now, what I wanted to say to you was, good evening, and how are you this evening? I'm
Fine.
I'm fine. Listen to that. Wow. Well, we were staying at a friend's house, and I don't know, do you recognize what the song is? If you take the upcoming opera in, you'll know. But the people I was staying with, they came down in the morning and I sang good morning, and they said, you know, what are you doing? After I got them to do, I'm fine, I'm fine. I said, that's Figaro. You know, Mozart, it's coming. And I had a meeting with Vic, and I had a meeting with Dan, and I walked into the washroom, and guess what? Mozart, the Marriage of Figaro. Point I'm making is I wanted to stick that there's synchronicity. Once I had decided that Napoleon Hill was going to be a good thing for the company, I got a call from a friend, and the friend said, George, there's a Science of Success workshop in Toronto next weekend. Are you interested? I learned afterwards that here's something that you need to remember. Successful people make up their minds quickly and change it seldom. Unsuccessful people take a long time to make up their minds and they change it often. Thank goodness I didn't know that rule, but right away I said, I'm on that plane. And it was a life-changing thing. I had a conference in Hawaii. I took all the information. I mind mapped the 17 principles. I called each area of the franchise system and I said, we're going to meet for a whole weekend and we're going to talk about success principles. I remember a very strong franchisee in Calgary said, quote, who the hell do you think you are to make me go somewhere for a success principle? I said, you just be there. And she was. And it changed the company around. Mastermind Alliance is a group of people that make up things, capabilities that you don't have. Now, I had to spend 3 days teaching success principles, and I think that would be very arduous. So I called my friend Vic Lindell, And I said, Vic, I'll tell you what, I'll share what I know about success principles. You've already read Napoleon Hill. Do you want to come across Canada and deliver success principles? It took him a long time to make up his mind, within nanosecond. He said, I'll be there. And so we went around the country to all the franchisees teaching success principles. And I still remember a mother and her daughter running out with the husband in the hall because I said, bring your spouse, bring your children, bring whatever, and then you get congruency. So in business, congruency is a big word. You can behave the same in business as you do at home. Very important. So we taught success principles, and it changed the company around. The other thing that I wanted to share with you, so I've got behind every adversity is the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. The system is the solution. One thing that I found ever so helpful is ask at the risk of receiving. Vic, will you come across the country and teach Science of Success in 3-day workshops? Yes. Well, here is something. At a certain point, as we were moving along, we felt that we needed a little more expertise. So, I don't know if you know who the president of McDonald's Canada was at the time. It was George Kolhan, the guy that started McDonald's in Russia. Called up George Kolhan and said, hey, we're a little company in Brandon, Manitoba, we need assistance. You know what he did? He put one of his executives on our board, and he said, you can have our facility in Toronto for your meetings. It was wonderful to walk into McDonald's, and you walk in, every room is glass. The meeting room is glass. I sat down at George Kolhan's desk just to see what it felt like to be in that kind of a position. And so, ask at the risk of receiving. M&M meat shops. Call them up, the 2 nicest guys you'd ever want to meet that started it. Can you help us out? Yeah, here's our procedure manuals. Here you go. So ask at the risk of receiving. What I'd like to leave with you is whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it's possible to achieve. And the adversity of being turned down at a franchise meeting has led to my 4 boys being taught the science of success. It's led to writing a book for young people, because young people don't know success principles. It certainly helped my 4 boys, and it's led to a lot of the material in Endpoint Vision and beyond. And I want to say that my new Mastermind Alliance, Vic has always been, we've been Bush Cassidy and Sundance Kid, and he's Butch. But we now have a new member writing with us, Dan Doherty. And the book would not be possible without Dan.
Sure hope those weren't your notes.
That's my notes.
Take a minute to say something that would be helpful to George.